Well, taking a look at your top story, South Africa's Chamber of Mines has applied for an urgent interdict in the Gauteng High Court to stop the implementation of the third mining charter. The Chamber says the charter would destroy the industry and that it's an example of a minister acting beyond his powers. The charter was published on June the 15th. The application lodged today said the charter was so obviously beyond the powers of the minister and that in publishing the 2017 charter, the minister has purported to exercise powers which reside exclusively with Parliament, which he has sought to usurp. The Chamber has accused the Department of Mineral Resources of negotiating in bad faith by producing a final version of the third iteration of the charter containing elements it had not seen before and had not discussed with the department. The charter set new outlines for mining and prospecting companies to meet for targets of black ownership, procurement of goods and services, employment and environment. It is in appeal. The Chamber of Mines says the publication of the 2017 charter was so obviously beyond the powers of the minister and that in publishing the 2017 charter, the minister has purported to exercise powers which reside exclusively with Parliament, which he has sought to usurp. I need the Lutando. Well, Lutando Brukwe joins us on the phone line. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Well, thank you for joining us here on ANN7. Let me ask you, what is your views on the mining charter?
Look, evening to your viewers, and thanks for having us. The National Union of Mine Workers has welcomed the gazetting of the charter by the Minister of Mineral Resources, and we think the 12 months or more consultation which have been taking place left a vacuum within the industry in implementing and fast-tracking the inclusion of mine workers and communities in the transformation space.
What will this mean for the community?
Pardon?
This new mining charter actually mean for the communities?
No, the NUM welcomes the new mining charter. Look, the NUM is of the view that the document is a multi-stakeholder consulted document, and thus, from an NUM perspective, we are not happy with everything within the charter, but we are not against these sector instruments. In fact, we have called for the Department of Mineral Resources to fast-track its implementation and deal with those mining companies that are currently non-compliant with the previous charter.
And the Chamber of Mines has said that it will be bad for investment, the new charter. What is your views? Does the statement made by the Chamber of Mines carry any weight?
From where we are sitting, it doesn't, and it's hypocritical because the Chamber of Mines is well aware that mining companies who are operating in impoverished communities, where communities are currently closing down those operations, whether it's in Stilport, Lephalale, or anywhere else. Now, communities are tired of mining companies operating within impoverished communities, and communities are left with nothing but squalor and poverty. Now, it is imperative for the mining industry to be inclusive of workers and communities, and thus this instrument will do a great job in shortening the levels of inequality, not only in those communities, but in broader society.
In regards to skills, and also something that was pointed out by the Chamber of Mines, do you think that there is enough skills to actually take on this new mining charter and to make it prosperative?
Look, we're of the view that the Chamber is taking the Department of Mineral Resources to court. From where we are standing, firstly, the Chamber cannot, in the same vein, say it is pro-transformation. And we are saying this action demonstrates lack of willingness for the Chamber of Mines and its member companies to transform and redress the imbalances of the past, but also ensures that they fully include communities and workers within the broader ownership structures. Secondly, we think that this is not against government but against South Africans as a whole. Hence, South Africans need to stand up and ensure that we cannot allow the levels of inequalities and unemployment to take place in South Africa. This is an industry that has shed more than 100,000 jobs within the past 3 years or so. This is an industry that is characterized by your Sibanye goals that has just repatriated close to 3 billion rands to the U.S. in the Stillwater project. This is an industry that is still characterized by foreign ownership or control. So for us, we think that the Chamber is not only against the Department of Mineral Resources, but against South Africans as a whole. So we need to stand up against this bullying and untransformed posture of the Chamber of Mines.
Well, staying on the Chamber of Mines, it also says in the appeal that the Charter is beyond the power of the mining minister. How correct is the Chamber of Mines in saying so?
If it wasn't a stance that they put in court, I would have said it was laughable. Because remember, this is the same Chamber of Mines which is a signatory to the stakeholder declaration that was signed in 2010, which put in place Mining Charter 2. Now they are waking up and saying the minister has no right. Which world have they been living in? What woke them up today? Now, it's very concerning, and it's showing the two-faced which is shown by the Chamber, because the question which we must ask is, when they said that they complied with Mining Charter 2, did they recognize Mining Charter 2? And are they not recognizing Mining Charter 3? Why? Because they turned the signature, and in July, the Chamber of Mines, in signing the stakeholder declaration, was represented by the then President, Mr. Nkosi. So I don't know on what basis are they now waking up today and say the minister had no right to even change or gazette a charter.
Well, thank you so much, Lutando Brookweb. I am going to ask you to please just stay on the line. We are also joined by Peter Meyer, a mining analyst. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Well, please, let's just answer this question for me first. What is your view on the new mining charter?
Look, the charter is a very complex document. It's over 40 pages long, and it looks like nothing I've ever seen before. If you look at the Constitution of America, they put it together over a weekend, and it was pretty simple to follow, and it just concentrated on the basics. If you look at the Ten Commandments, it was put together quite quickly, but it concentrated on the basics. But when you look at this charter, it would take a decade to try and implement one of those pages. And so much of it is contradictory, and so much of it doesn't make sense. It's kind of a wish list put together by quite a few people. And I think rather than say, what is this charter trying to do? Let's say what this charter definitely is not doing. This charter is not uniting the country. This charter is not bringing in investment. This charter is not going to create any jobs in mining. So if that's what it's not going to do, then maybe we don't need to say what's it going to do. It looks like it's dividing the country. It's going to cost jobs. Look, it's going to create a lot of jobs for lawyers, and it's probably going to create some more posts for some accountants. But what's our objective here? I thought it was to grow jobs. The mining industry has shed something like 350,000 jobs in the last 20 years. The gold mining industry alone has shed over 400,000 jobs, which more than cancels out any new jobs we may have made. So I would have thought this charter was to create jobs and grow mining in this country, to help this country.
Also, do you then agree with the Chamber of Mines when it says that it will be bad for investment for the mines in South Africa?
if you're not bringing in investments, you're hurting your mining industry. Mining needs foreign capital. It's needed it for hundreds of years. America couldn't have grown their mines without foreign capital. It couldn't have grown their railroads. Germany, England, and definitely Africa. So whatever this charter does, if it doesn't bring in investment, it's not helping the industry, it's not helping the country. So I don't think it was ever written that it would bring in investment, and that's probably the problem. From the very start, they didn't write this as something to bring in investment. They seemed to write it looking in a rearview mirror and looking at all the wrongs and things that didn't help this country unite until 1994. I just think it was written with the wrong objectives in mind.
Well, thank you so much to Peter Meyer, a mining analyst, joining us there, and also to Lutando Brookwe from NUM, Head of Transformation, joining us on the phone line.